so we're gonna tie up the Schoolie Snack. It's a foil-based fly. It uses these new Pro Sport candy foils. They're super realistic. Got them in not too long ago. This is a great early season fly. Right now the bait's pretty small. If they're feeding on silversides or even sand eels or spearing anything small and skinny, like 3 to 4 inch range, this fly is going to work really well. So I know you don't really need much. You need some crystal flash, these foils. I'm tying this one on a C77 SAP mustad. This is a size 1/0, and it's a couple tools that I use to prep the body, and we'll get into that as I go along. Right here, this is some chocolate Sili Skin and mother of pearl. You can use mother of pearl, you can use white, you can use the pearl green. Basically anything that's semi-translucent. You want it to mimic the body of a baitfish, so you want to be able to see through it a little bit. Usually this stuff is really hard to work with, especially when you make bodies, if you're just trying to cut it out and fold it over on itself. And I kind of stumbled upon where if you lay these foils on it, it adds a lot of rigidity to this product, and it makes it really much easier to work with. And I'll show you how I go along with that. So this is a Blado's crease fly cutter, made by River Road. We sell these. This is a size 2/0, and I like this size with most of the baitfish size foils. So you can use large, medium, small. You can jump it up to a 3/0 if you want to make the fish a little bit bigger. And they all come with this rubber kind of pad. Basically, you just take the chocolate Sili Skin, you lay this right on top of it. I'm just gonna make sure you punch it right through. It just cuts right through it. You're gonna take this off, and you're kind of left with a guitar pick kind of shape. And what I do is I just cut off this bottom tag, the scissors, and then I'm gonna lay these foils right on top of it. These foils all have kind of a little nose section, and these foils have them. The Bob Popovic fly foils, if you can still find those, we'll have it as well. And what we're gonna try to do here is gonna try to take a pair off and have this little nose tab hang over the edge. That way when we tie it on the hook, that's gonna be a nice tying point, and it's gonna keep the foil on the fly in case it gets really chewed. Basically, what I found the easiest way to do this is take a bodkin. This little point right here kind of stays attached. Just rip it right off, right through, and you can peel the whole thing off. And then, so if you can imagine this as a bait fish, its back is going to be the dead center. So we kind of want to lay this down right about on the edge. Like I said, you want a little bit of that nose sticking off the side. You don't have to put any glue. One thing I did stumble upon when I was doing this is that the bond, for some reason, between the Sili Skin, the MFC Minnow Skin, and the foils is pretty much permanent as soon as you stick it down. And I learned that the hard way trying to peel these foils off of this product, and they really don't come off. So what I did was I wound up sticking some on, leaving them in a glass of water. I had to bleach to the water, soap to the water, a whole bunch of things, and even after a week, the foil was still attached to the Sili Skin, which is pretty amazing. So I figured, well, why not just, because it definitely looks more realistic without coating this with anything, just to leave it just like this. So that's pretty much how we're gonna leave it on the hook. All right, once we get those glued on there, we're just gonna cut this back end off right here. So I go right up to the edge of the foils and just snip that. All right, now this is ready to tie in. All right, so we're gonna go up to the hook. This is just some Vivus 140. And I'm just gonna start probably half an eye length behind it. Just wrap down. This is just gonna give that material something to stick onto. You don't wanna do this on a bare hook. And then we're gonna tie the tail in. And the tail, I found, I've tried a bunch of things, bucktail, crystal flash, bucktail and crystal flash, tried some super hair, just a bunch of different things. And for me, the greatest success I had with catching fish has always been with just Crystal Flash. So you want a little hank. You don't want any loose ends. So just brush it out. Then we're just going to tie this in right at the middle. The easiest way to do that is just loop it around the thread, and then this goes right on top of the hook shank. You want to make sure this whole thing stays on top. So just lay it down. Don't worry if it's compacting, that's kind of what you want, but you definitely want it to stay on top of the hook shank. You don't want it twisting around the sides. It's going to make the fly twisted. And then we're just going to bind that down. And then I'm going to whip finish this. And then for this next step, I'm going to switch the camera to my over-the-shoulder view so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, like I said before, if you've ever tried using this material, and if you were to just stick this on this hook right here and try to fold it over, it's going to be a disaster. But once you have these foils on there, it makes working with this material so much easier. So we're just gonna peel this whole backing off. Comes right off. And then you'll see, you kind of just want to get it on your finger so you can have the little nose sticking over the side. And we want to lay that right along the hook shank. That nose right behind the eye. Then I'm just going to turn this whole thing. You want to pull all the flash away so it's not stuck on there. And if you can see, you kind of have the silhouette behind it. What you want to do is you want to just lay it right along so it's flat. Then you want to gently fold this over. We don't want to push hard yet because we want this to be perfectly aligned right here. Don't worry if the material itself isn't aligned. You just want these fly foils aligned because we're going to trim this right down. And then we're going to gently pinch just to hold the Crystal Flash. And we want to turn it back up, and we want to make sure the fly is straight. So once you get all this flash just kind of situating itself right now, then you can pinch underneath it. I'm going to pinch this whole thing down. You see, that wasn't difficult at all. Like I said, if you tried to do this without those foils, adding rigidity to that Sili Skin, it'd be a big disaster for you. And then we're just going to take that little nose tab, and we're just going to tie it right down. A few turns there. Give it a good whip finish. And then I'm going to hit that with the Solar as bone dry. You can kill it. I'm just going to cover up the thread wraps. Give it a neat little kind of nose. And yeah, that's the Solar as bone dry. This light's kind of its last leg, so it takes a little while to cure it. But all right, once we get that done, we can do some trimming here. Basically, you want to follow the contour of the head as close as you can, right along the back. Make one cut there. And we'll go along the belly and we'll follow the belly contour. Just go right up to the hook. And then you can just pull it. Same on the back. You don't want to cut through the foil, so stay below the foil if you can see it. Just right up to the hook. Give it a tug. Now we're just going to trim the tail down, and the tail should be probably a little bit less than the length of the foil body. So I like to kind of hold it in my hands like this. I'll give it a rounded sort of cut. Look like a fish tail. And then to finish this off, I'll just go back with that bone dry. And I like to do a little dab on both sides of the back. It's just going to add a little rigidity to it. make it swim a little better, make it cast a little better. And just hold the tail straight. And then you can cook that. You can kill that. All right, and that's the Schoolie Snack. You can see, very realistic looking fly. Not hard to tie. You can bang a bunch of them out. I kind of like to prep, you know, a whole bunch of the little sets with the bodies glued on them, and then just, you know, tie up the bodies and just stick them right on. It goes pretty quick. This fly is really durable. Once it, you know, it can be bent. That, like I said, that foil is not going to come off. Yeah, it's a really great fly, especially when they're on small bait that looks like this. So tie them up, give them a shot.